Hi and welcome to the work surfaces section of the workshop. So during this video we're going to look at the different work surfaces that we use when doing pewter embossing. These work surfaces does not need to be an expensive item. They are locally available in most of your hardware shops or your art shops. So what I am using is three surfaces that you see currently. One of them is my hard surface. This is the one that I use for drawing on. I work on it constantly every day for sketching, for doing textures. It's rock hard and smooth. The second one is the semi-soft surface, and then the last one is the soft surface. So if we look at the hard surface, I am working on a ceramic tile at the moment. I've got a nice big ceramic tile lying on my table. It is 60 centimeters wide by 120 centimeters long. I work on it every day. I use it not just for pewter craft, I use it for all my other crafts. So this is my general work surface, and I just make sure that it's nice and clean. I don't spill any glue on it. I don't want to have any bumps or texture on this tile. It should be smooth and hard. So if you can't find a ceramic tile to work on, you can use a nice thick piece of glass as well. That also works perfectly for doing pewter work. The important thing is that it needs to be smooth and it needs to be hard, because you're going to do cutting work on this surface, which you don't want it to leave marks behind, which in the end can leave marks on your pewter again. So it needs to be solid, smooth, and it shouldn't leave any marks behind if you work on it. So the hard surface we use when we do our designs, when we trace our designs from our paper onto our pewter, we do that on our hard surface. We work on our hard surface when we do our cutting out work. I work on the hard surface when I do my polishing or when I color my pewter. You would very little work on your hard surface from the back of your design. We mostly work on the front. There is an instance or two where we would use it from the back of our design, but it's mostly from the front. Then if we look at the second surface, which I call the semi-soft surface, in this instance I am using a piece of lino sheet. Now this is just a normal black lino sheet that the artists use for block printing. They cut out designs on this sheet and then they do block printing. I'm using it as my semi-soft surface because it's nice and hard, but it is still bendable and pliable. So it just gives me a little bit of support, extra support that I need. It's not as hard as my ceramic tile. I cannot cut on it. I mostly work on the front of my design on the lino sheet. I do work every now and again from the back, but it is mostly used for working from the front. This is the surface that I work on the most during my designs, and it is a sheet that you need to keep also nice and clean and smooth. You don't want any textures on it, because that textures will go through to your pewter designs as well. If you cannot find a lino sheet like this one, you can also use a stack of printing paper, old printing paper, scrap paper. Bind a nice thick stack of paper together using staplers or masking tape around the edges, just so that they don't move when you work on it. That also gives you a nice support similar to the lino sheet. You can also look at using an old magazine. Just again, make sure that you tie down the edges using masking tape, and then you can use that as well as your semi-soft surface. After the semi-soft surface, we need a soft surface. So this is just any material that you can find in your local fabric supply shop or in your art shop or even in your local grocery store. I'm using a long sheet of felt material that I found in my local material shop, and then I just bought a long piece, I cut it smaller, and I just fold it into the amount of layers that I need. So depending on the amount of height that you need to add to your design, you would either need 1 layer, 2 layers, or 3 or 4 layers. I most commonly work on 2 layers and 4 layers, so that's why this method of taking a long piece works best for me, because I just fold it open or fold it close. The most important thing about this surface is that we're going to work from the back of our pewter on this surface, where we have to add height to our designs. So it needs to really be soft and give the necessary support, and also give away when we apply pressure so that the pewter can mold or bend downwards. So these are our basic 3 surfaces that we're going to work on. Just to recap, you can either use a ceramic tile or a piece of glass as a hard surface. A lino sheet works best for me, but you can also use an old magazine or a stack of papers. And then a soft cloth that you can apply different layers so that you can get different thicknesses, which gives you different height abilities to achieve. For the soft surface, you can look at the blue cleaning cloths that you buy in your supermarkets. Apply 1 or 2 of them on top of each other, and then you also have a nice thick cushion.